guys, for today's video, I'm going to be sharing everything that I loved for the month of August, and I have a lot to show you guys, so let's jump right into it. Starting with beauty, as always, I have the NARS lipsticks. They have some of the best sheer finish lipsticks ever. I'm wearing one today. The one that I'm wearing today is called, the letters are really tiny and I'm kind of blind, but I think this says Falbala, and it's a sheer formula, and it's kind of like a mauvey berry color, perfect for fall. For people who don't really like that much of a bold lip, they like more of like a minimal, kind of like worn looking lip, or a tint or a wash of something, but they don't want to commit to a very, very bold lipstick. So it's perfect for every day, but you can layer it and make it darker to transition it to nighttime. So I've really been loving this shade. And the other two that I've been wearing and loving that I talked about in my last vlog are Casablanca and Blonde Venus. So these are more of like an orange kind of shade. Casablanca is a lot more orange, but it's not like summer, like bright fluorescent orange. It's like a perfect sort of like fall appropriate orange. And Blonde Venus is just a nude, but the undertone is kind of orange. I love orange toned lipsticks. I feel like it goes very well with my skin tone, and it's for the most part very universal. So I feel like these two colors would look beautiful on almost any skin tone. But what I wanted to talk about in general was the formula. If you guys are trying to find a good lipstick for dry lips, something that's going to wear off beautifully, it's not going to leave you a weird line inside your lips, it's not going to go into every single crevice, I would definitely try out the NARS lipsticks in the either satin or the sheer finishes. So when I first started purchasing makeup, one of the main brands that I would purchase from was Chanel. I used to love their I think it's Aqua Lumiere foundation. It's a very lightweight foundation. That was my holy grail go-to foundation. So I recently made a purchase for a couple of their products, and I know that this is going to be probably one of the most bougie favorites that I've ever done. I'm just warning you guys right now. I know a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about are a little on the pricey side. First one is this guy right here, and I mean, I don't even gotta explain to you why I gravitated towards this, but I mean, this packaging is just like the most beautiful thing ever. This is actually a bronzer, and I think I mentioned in my last favorites that I've been using the liquid bronzer from Bare Minerals, their Pro Bronzer. Really love that one, definitely recommend it. But since we're moving towards the fall, I wanted to get a different bronzer, something that was a little lighter. Obviously my skin tone is gonna get gradually lighter as the months pass, and I still wanted something that was kind of luminous but not as luminous as the Bare Minerals one. Yeah, this is the Healthy Glow Luminous Color Bronzer, and I got the shade medium. I didn't really check their shade range. I'm not sure how amazing their shade range is, but I feel like this color is very good for my skin tone right now. And even if I get a little lighter, I think it's still gonna be good. But I love this bronzer. It's what I have today. It still gives me that very luminous, healthy glow that I got from my liquid bronzer, but it's a lot easier to apply, and it's a tiny bit more subtle than the Bare Minerals one. Absolutely love this, definitely recommend this if you're in the market for a bronzer. You guys know that I love the whole glass skin trend. I love anything that's going to be very luminous on my cheekbones, but it's not gonna be shimmery. It's gonna look sort of like an editorial glossy beam on my cheeks. But again, I wanted to tone it down. I mentioned the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, the liquid one, previously, and I still use that one, still love it, but this one is a tiny bit more subtle, and you only need a little bit of this. It's a lot easier to apply because it is in stick form. This is their Sculpting, I can't read this. I'm gonna link everything down below. I think this is their Sculpting Stick, and this is like in one of the lighter colors. So I just use this as my highlight on my cheekbones. I'm not sure if you're gonna see it, but I have to use such a small amount of this. It has almost no like real shimmer to it. It's like almost like a gloss. It reminds me of the Halo Scope by Glossier, but I feel like this one shows up on my skin way better than the Halo Scope. So I am very, very good with skincare, but for some reason I cannot stand hand lotion. I can't stand it. I hate that feeling, that greasy feeling of something on my hands. I'm the type of person that like always washes her hands a million times a day. I know it's really bad. It's not good for like the aging of your hands, but I've never found a hand lotion that doesn't leave like some kind of residue and makes my hands feel gross, until I came across this one. So this is one of the main reasons I made my little Chanel purchase, because again, this little egg, I'm sure you guys have seen it at least once on Instagram, but this little aesthetic egg is a hand lotion, and I think it's the lighter version, and it is perfect. It smells really good, the classic kind of like Chanel smell. You squeeze it and you just apply it to like the back of your hands. You work it in, and it's kind of like a serum sort of texture, but a tiny bit thicker, and it just melts into your skin, and that is all that I ask for in a lotion. I do not want any kind of gross residue. So continuing with my extremely bougie favorites, I recently had a staycation, and during that staycation I purchased my first Byredo perfume. One thing that I will spend my money on, like something that I justify when it comes to scents, is how unique it is. There are so many very high-end brands out there that every time I smell something new from them, it smells exactly the same. So I got Bal d'Afrique, probably butchered that. Such a fresh scent, but it's not like a floral scent. It's sort of warm, but not too warm. It's not sweet at all. It's like the most perfect, unique blend ever. Along with that, my next favorite, their candle. And I got two candles from them. Love both of them. I got Cotton Poplin from Byredo, and I also got Woods. I purchase bougie candles once or twice a year, depending how quickly I go through them. I tend to only burn them on occasions. I don't go around just burning them every time I feel like burning a candle. That's what I have my diffuser for, but I love collecting beautiful candles. I repurpose them. So Cotton Poplin is more of a fresh scent, but again, it doesn't smell like a very generic fresh scent that, you know, is still very good, but it's very common. This one is much more of a unique scent, something that you will smell when you walk into a very luxurious hotel or something. And Woods is just a little bit warmer, obviously a little bit more woodsy. I have that one in my living room. Next up, I have the Everlane Cheeky Bootcut jeans. They recently came out with these. They are the only jeans that I've been wearing aside from my Citizens of Humanity jeans that I think I talked about in my last month's favorites, but I usually gravitate towards a more rigid or stiff, non-stretch denim. And while I really love that vibe, it's still honestly my favorite thing to wear. But when you're a little bit on the curvier side, there is just nothing that flatters you more than something that has a tiny bit of stretch at least. So recently I've just been dabbling back into something that has a tiny bit more stretch. Honestly, I wouldn't have loved these as much as I do if it wasn't for the fact that they are boot cut. On me, it's definitely more of like a straight jean, to be honest, because my calves and like my lower legs are a little bit thicker, but if you have thinner legs, then they're going to look more of a true boot cut on you. But I also love the fact that the paneling inside is a darker jean. It gives a little bit more interest to the jean. I'm currently wearing the black ones right now. I have two colors, and I'm trying my hardest not to get it in the third color. But yes, the rise is perfect as well, and it pinches you at the waist. Next, I have the heels that I've been talking about this entire month. They are the Dear Francis Chase Mules. I'm not sure if the black ones are still available. I hope they are, because I really do think that this is such a transitional sandal. If you live in a hotter climate and you can still get away with wearing sandals this time of year, I feel like this is a very good transitional piece. And it is the most comfortable sandal that I own. It's that kind of cushiony like sole that just feels really good. Very like wide square front. Dear Francis is a sort of pricier brand, but I'm very, very impressed with these sandals. The quality is just unlike anything that I own, and the comfort, it's like if it's meant for my very complicated foot. So if I think it's comfortable, you guys will most likely think it's comfortable. Next up, I have my Gemary Croissant collection. It is all I've been wearing ever since I got it, and it is just a new collection that they came out with. It's fairly new, but I wanted to talk about it because I have honestly not taken it off. I just put the bigger croissant ring on this finger. I wear the pinky croissant ring on this hand with my sort of band ring, which is also from them. The croissant bracelet, I'm not wearing the earrings, but I've been wearing them like crazy. Definitely a lot more unique than the other jewelry pieces that I wear very often, but you know, it's not like too chunky to a point where it's just drawing way too much attention. Next I have, well, I don't think you guys can see it, but I'll show you guys in the close-ups. They are these little vintage sort of clay vessels or vases, whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty sure they were used as like water vessels back in the day, and I got them on Etsy. I got one which is kind of like a dark brown, almost terracotta color. Then I also have another one in my living room, which is a sort of like worn out black water vessel looking thing. I don't know, but I love mixing modern pieces with rustic pieces in my house, because I feel like rustic pieces really bring more charm, more interest, texture, and they just make things look a little bit cozier than if I were to just have an entire house composed of very, very modern furniture. There are so many months where a lot of people tell me to recommend Netflix shows or things that I'm reading and things like that, but I don't really watch TV that often anymore. There are months where I binge watch a lot of things, and then there are months where I don't watch anything on TV. So this month, the beginning of the month or the end of last month, I'm not sure, but I watched a show called In the Dark, which is about a woman who lost her vision at like 14, I think, and she is now blind, and it just shows like her life, her love life. And the first season that I saw is sort of like an investigation where she tries to find out who killed somebody in her life. I'm not gonna say who, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but I really recommend this show. It is an easy, fun watch. Very, very funny. I love her as an actress. Very relatable. I feel like her humor is very close to my humor, like that sarcastic, sort of like dry humor. Absolutely love it. And I love all of the actors. They all did a very good job. It's not like, you know, a super serious, like amazing, award-worthy TV show, I don't think, but it is such a feel-good, happy show, and I definitely recommend it. I really enjoyed it. I recommended it to my friends, but they never listened to me, so I'll tell you guys. Next up, I have Euphoria, which I'm sure you guys have heard of at least once this month. Everybody on that show did an amazing job. The cinematography, the topics that they talk about, everything is so good. The only thing I will say is that if you're the type of person that doesn't like too much sex or too much of something on a show, you might not like it. It is a very sort of vulgar show. A lot of people might consider it that, all the drugs and the sex and all of this that's going on, but I think it's a very real life show, and I personally really loved it. The way that they told the stories was very interesting, sort of different, which is what I really appreciated the most out of that show. So the last show that I saw is called The 7-5, which the 7-5 is a police station, and it follows a couple of crooked cops in that station while they were doing service. He tells his own story. It's interesting to see everyone else tell their own versions of the story, and it's just a very, very interesting documentary. I'm not sure if it's a docu-series or just one documentary, but it's very good if you're into that kind of thing. I feel like every show that I just mentioned is so different, but I have a very broad span of interests when it comes to TV shows, and a lot of different things caught my attention. But I love like investigations and true stories and things like that. So if you're into that, really recommend that one. So that is everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.